We are human beings. We all need communications one way to another to communicate during our life. We're often speaking to some of us seem to speak every day. And when we're asking, if we were to raise our voice in our society, some of us might have said, I talk to people every day. Doesn't that mean that I raise my voice up to society? Some of us just can't distinguish the differences of speaking up and stay silent. Today I'm going to talk about how important silence is and how will that impact our life. It's a hard turn. It is. On July 4, 2014, Clint Smith has successfully defined and how silence has impacted our life in the past, during the present, and probably will be one of the most controversial topics on the future as how it's impact the present. But he says that we spend so much time during our lifetime speaking the things that people want to hear instead of the things they needed to. Why is that? That came down to my mind, gave me an idea that what he speaks is true. Sometimes I just go out and see my friends, and all I could say is trying to impress them with my talk. Sometimes I see something wrong, I couldn't tell them that thing is wrong because I'm afraid that if I were to raise my voice up, my opinion gonna be judged. Sometimes I just don't realize that my opinion don't need validations from others. But I just can't do it. I'm afraid to speak my own truth. And I've seen a lot of people are doing that. Not just once, not just myself. I was doing a charity work last year. And one of the father of the church pat on my back says, you are so kind, you sacrifice your time to help these poor people. But I was caring more about his signature in my papers, so later my teacher would validate the signature and give me credit for it, rather than those poor homeless men needed their food. When I was driving down the freeway, I saw a homeless man looking at me for affirmations that he was worth seeing, that he is hungry. I was caring more about the burger I put in my mouth rather than feed him one. When I saw my friend beaten up in Vietnam by a group of gangs, all I can do is try to put these two hands in my pocket and try to walk away as nothing will happen. I was once, like majority of people in our society, are silenced, are afraid to speak up. Why is it so hard? It's just a judgment that society gives on you. It's a fear that society gives on you. Silence became a biggest trend that people don't realize. They're deep into it. On a beautiful morning, just like what we have this morning, a woman came straight to a therapist room, office room. She slammed the door open, rushing through it, and the secretary at the office saw her. She was completely surprised, but she knew that there's a serious issue has been going on. That's why this woman is trying to rush in and slam the door open. The secretary says, how may I help you? The woman spoke as she had never spoken before. She says, my son can't take it no more. He can't take any more teasings. He wanted to kill himself. According to a report of a national school committee, there are thousands of cases of bullying during school every day. And this happened everywhere. There are thousand and thousand and thousand more cases happened during everywhere, during our life, on the internet, cyberbullies, in middle school, in high school, in college, in workforce, and in workplace, anywhere you can think of. There are bullies anywhere. But most often these cases are supposed to keep silence. Why? Because people are feared. People are afraid to speak up because when they try to speak of something that they want to say, they're afraid that there will be more trouble brought to them. Why? They, just like us, afraid to speak up. How does this impact the world? Now let me tell you about what the past of the biggest history, the turning point in history. Let's African American, the civil rights movement. What happened? People were chased down, people were beaten up. And I've read an article about a few students were being chased, beaten in a high school. At lunch, they were thrown out. When they go back to school, when they go back from home to school, they were beaten up. But these students don't stop. They just don't stop. They come to school every day, even though they knew it's hell. Probably you guys have heard of the sit-ins movement. People were beaten up too. So badly, so violently, that some of them have to be in the hospital for months, but they don't stop. And in fact, there are more people who want to do the sit-ins movement, even though they're being beaten up by these white African. Why? They just want to raise their voices. They want to tell every single African Americans in their state, in their country, to say, it is enough. You can't ignore the existence of violence that white Americans has on black. That's why people choose to stand and fight against the Americans. That's why when Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat to a white man. Why? She would want the African Americans to know that she's fighting for it, that her voice worth something, that her actions actually mean something, not just people are just mind their own business, because that's not gonna happen freedom is not gonna happen if people mind their own business. If people were afraid of speaking up, like what Martin Luther King Jr. did, death would keep going, bullying would keep going, discrimination will keep going. There's nothing gonna change. Silence is a residue of fear, Dr. Clint Smith said in the TED Talks. I think it is true. Every day we look in our life and we're trying to speak as if we're trying to please people, not trying to raise our voice up to them. Silence has tremendously impacted our life, that it creates fear in ourselves. It creates fear of people are judging ourselves, of how people look at ourselves. Those judgments are what we fear at. Those are violence. I can put a stereo headphones over my ear and try to block everything if I stay silent. Look at society around you. There are things that happen every day, and some of us, have to keep our mouth shut about it. What's gonna happen? Bully will keep bullying. Violence will keep going. Crimes will keep going. Killings, genocides from other country, bombing, suicides, college students. They will keep going. We ignore those systems doesn't mean that it just stops. It just means that we trying to. It just means that we're useless. We can't raise our voice up. Why? Because we fear. When all these things, when bullies, when genocides, when death, when violence can't keep it silent, then why are we keeping ourselves from speaking the truth? Thank you.